first thing on the agenda is to review the minutes. Has everybody read the minutes yet? All set. All set?
Yeah, I have one question. We didn't sign any abatements last meeting, did we?
Sign any what?
Abatements?
No,
Yeah, we had one, but I don't think we had, but that was the only thing.
You got a good memory if you remember that.
Well, just because it was unusual, that was the first one that we didn't have any.
Well, we got one there, the little, not very big, a couple of abatements.
It's all, there's 3 different people. These are all the same as the previous ones, just
Oh, I don't see,
things were shut off, the abatements.
yeah, I don't see those, so. Thank goodness.
Finance charge.
If they took out the finance or the demands, then they probably came in and paid on time.
Right. Oh, Liberty Street.
Liberty's the post office.
Yeah.
they paid the bill off.
So, Art, did you read the minutes? You have any problem?
I think that was the only one with the abatement. Although, Kerry, did you
You
send?
changed it.
Did you send, that, yeah, that was the only thing I had. Did you send anything yeah, the minutes out by email this time? So I didn't get, I got the agenda, but I didn't get
Yeah.
I got like a repeat of the September 17th
No, I
minutes.
sent them out.
All right, I'll have to go check my spam folders or something. Did we get anything back from Taylor and Howard on any of those?
No, we did get some new bills though.
Well, that, which is why I brought it up. I was gonna ask you, did we
So I'm
actually,
gonna make.
So I
motion
can
for
tell you
this.
what percentage
I'll make a
of
motion
each
to
thing
accept
that
the
they're
minutes.
billing us for, they've spent out. And then I think I had
I'll
to
second
separate
that.
out one of
All in
them.
favor of
Aye.
accepting the minutes?
Yep.
Aye.
Aye. So did he come back and do any more
No,
tests?
I haven't heard from them at all.
Why don't you give him a call or an email and find out when he's gonna do it? Because it's gonna be getting cold, and he can't be doing that if the road's gonna be freezing up. Let's get it done.
but you didn't get anything back on the new source with the well?
No,
Any of
we do
that?
have a bill on that though. this
Well,
time.
we've got bills on the build-out analysis, we've got a bill on the new source study, and we've got a bill on the hydraulic model.
Yeah,
And 2 weeks ago, he said we were getting stuff, and nothing's happened since.
no, so I tell on the, with this,
What percentage is he on the
so he'll,
model?
Hydraulic model's getting
model.
close.
that's the unidirect, they're charging us this time for the unidirectional, so they're at 70%. Might as well call it 71%.
Did they do the new flow test?
No, they haven't done anything yet. I haven't heard from them at all.
Were they gonna notify you when they do them? They must, right?
Yeah, because they need me to do it.
Oh, you're doing it this time?
Yeah, well, we do it with them, they just bring the equipment and then record all the data.
Yeah, they don't want the liability of touching fire hydrants if you break something.
I don't want them touching them either.
But did they give you anything more on the unidirectional flushing?
No, I haven't gotten anything from them. And I think tonight they're gonna finish up and then the next night they're gonna do the trailer parks and they're done. Then I have to let the system sit in stasis so we can do our total coliform samples for the month. So we're gonna pump some chlorine out there to make sure that we pass.
I think we could at least wait on that one for till the
Well, I
next
think
meeting
I
and see if-
had her separate out the unidirectional one.
Well, yeah, that one's the other one is the build-out analysis, which is only a small amount that they're billing.
But they've reached 90% on the amount that they said that they
Yeah.
charge.
What was that from?
Yeah. Which one was
And he's got nothing
We don't have anything.
in that.
It's just,
And he's got no bills on the Station 1 stuff?
The
Are they
station,
done?
no, the station ones,
Okay, it's
well, they haven't
already-
sent any, but
Yeah, these two.
we have
were
paid
before,
bills
This
out.
one was put on, payment plan.
This one's put on payment plan?
Yeah,
And so once they're on a payment plan, we do away with it.
yes, and then it.
Demand charge.
I just assume hold off on paying them until we hear something back.
Goes back.
yeah, on the build out, they're at 90%, should've
Yeah, we haven't gotten anything.
done nothing. The hydrant, the new source, they're at 50% of what they budgeted, they charged to get to the first phase.
I don't know, what do you think?
I think we're gonna hold it back. We'll slow it
I
back.
think so, especially after last meeting, he kind of promised an awful lot of stuff
Yeah,
we'd be seeing real quick.
When did he say he was gonna do that flow test?
He didn't give a specific date, he just said that he'd have the girl.
I kinda expected it by this meeting, and at least they have the
I thought
test.
we gave him the hint that we wanted it done.
And he seemed to think, made an impression, he was gonna be handing up that big book of the program and.
Big book. I still
But I
don't,
mean, nothing, again, we haven't gotten anything.
right,
No, I'd like to hold back, I mean, this,
So what is he billing us for? The
Harry can
unidirectional?
take this off.
so the
On this
unidirectional,
one,
I
so
think
we-
the demand build out
Yeah,
study,
hey,
and
everybody
then the
else.
new source.
Yeah.
Can you take Tater and Howard off that one?
Yeah, you gotta re-sign that.
And we'll hold this one all together, I guess.
Just hang on to it, don't send it in for payment, that's all. Just- If we get something, we'll sign it next meeting.
Yeah, we meet every 2 weeks, it's not like it's gonna,
Right.
but, I mean, like you said, I expected to come in and see a bunch of stuff from them, and Wayne was gonna be finishing it, because you're gonna finish the system without ever having the unidirectional
Yes,
flushing.
So you're gonna have the whole system flush without that?
yep,
And the idea was that's what you'd be
Yeah.
following this year when we
Right.
sign the contract.
yeah, because we started
it
in
was-
like March or April.
Now we're not
It's
gonna
not
be
the end of
doing
the
it.
world,
cold
but we'll
when
have
we
it next
start.
year.
We'll have it next year, that's,
I don't think the guys mind.
Oh, you do it over again, no?
No,
it was a lot of money and labor.
that's
Yeah,
a lot of
that's-
water. goes
that's our
down.
biggest
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of,
Overtime budget hit.
Yeah, the overtime that goes into it too. It's
Yeah.
not that, that's why if we could do it right, more effectively, it's so much better, you know, you spend so much money on water and labor.
Right, you're not gonna do it, he said 9 zones, it's not gonna get done in 9 nights, I can guarantee you that.
well, it doesn't have to be done in consecutive nights, as long as
So
it.
part of
falls in
whatever he did zoned off, we'll just have to keep going back into certain zones till we complete.
Right.
Speaking of that, did you get a dirty water call for the old section of Crescent Street?
No, we record them all.
Hey, what did you hear?
I thought you said you called him, wait, you were gonna call him back or something. How does the water go into Old Crescent Street?
There's actually a main, that's the tail end of the 6, it drops down to 4 in there.
Can you bring it up? I'm just curious how it goes in there.
Actually, all of the houses are here have
Vans
things to it.
going yet?
What?
If you have one, you should be getting
Oh, no.
one.
Yeah.
Right, that's what we usually look for, but still think the higher efficiency washing machines they play havoc with people because,
Which house is, Tom, question on that, which one?
I don't know.
Which house up there?
It must be 273. You're getting dirty water. Most that main loops through there.
Yeah,
That's the old main. That has nothing to do with the 12, the 16 that's on Crescent Street. That,
Oh, it doesn't
drag it down, you'll see where the 6 goes, they're side by side. You
yeah,
see 'em?
they run signs right down to the end of the intersection at West.
Oh, really? It's separate all the way down, huh?
Yeah, they never jumped everybody over, they just left.
Cause that house there,
Yeah,
go back,
yep.
273 there is getting real dirty water.
Yeah, and he's probably tied to the, he is tied to the old main.
Yeah, well, it's 4 in there.
And there's a lot of houses that are tied to the old main. Out of all those houses there, you
Most
know,
of them.
Oh, we got some coming in the back there?
Yeah. Because the road used to go that way.
that was the road.
But no, not when 279, 265 was built, I don't think.
No, but it was easier to tap them into the old
Yeah, it
main
must have been, yeah.
than to do it through the front, you know, because there's nobody on the road, so you didn't need to hire a police officer there, so we would have tapped them the other way.
So 273's got dirty water, I know that.
Alright.
Did that get flushed, that old main?
They worked their way through, so I'm sure it did, but for like the older mains, your hydrants are farther and farther apart. It's not, you know, back
That
then-
old one, so, yeah, so those 4 houses right there are tapped on that old section, huh?
Yep, and then a lot of the houses out front are also.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, as you go down the.
As you get down the street, there's a lot of them. Drag it the other way.
Yeah, how far does it go the other way?
Oh, it goes all the way back.
Goes
So that 6-inch goes all the way to West Street and all the way to North Elm?
Yeah.
So
it's
those dual
duplicate.
mains, huh?
Yeah,
See,
it
there,
actually
see where it goes right there, it goes
Yeah,
back
it goes
off the
back on
road.
Old Crescent again, huh?
Yeah,
And see Judy Kenny's,
Yeah.
and that other one, they're tapped off that way too.
Wow. What can we do to clear that up?
other than flushing, that's all we can do. It's not, and I don't, the hydrants, like I said, are far and few between.
I think the only hydrant on that is the one at
It could be
intersection
all
with
of
West and Crescent.
Yeah, and there might be one in between. I'd have to look, what you do is look for the age of the hydrant and then you can kind of guess.
So on that 6-inch, the whole length of Crescent, there's only 2 hydrants?
No, there's more than 2. They're split between the 16-inch main and the 6-inch, so because one's existed, they didn't add extras, they just looked, hey, there's another one, so they didn't put one in.
Alright. I don't know
So
if
you
we
don't get an awful lot of water out of those old ones off the old main.
Well, there's still a lot of pressure there, you get more out of the 16, obviously, but there's still good pressure there.
should we flush some more there to try to clear that up?
I mean, if he just complained today, then yeah, we can
No,
send.
I heard from him last week, but.
But they would have been through there early on, that would have been early on in the flushing, so that would have been done weeks ago.
Go up to Pinecrest Road.
Pine Crest?
Yeah, drag it up there and go up to Pinecrest. I'll show you an interesting situation.
Pine Crest is all the way here, right?
Right there, yeah. Zoom in on that Pinecrest up there. No, that's, you're down by Purchase. Go further up the street. Zoom in around 55.
Where it crosses.
50, yeah, right there. Almost everybody in that street's tied into a 2-inch water main,
Yeah,
and they don't even know it. And there's a 12-inch on the other side of the street that feeds the fire hydrants and everything, and that comes from the wells right here and goes up through the woods and feeds the water tank. But nobody complains about the water, low water pressure, and they're all fed off a 2-inch main.
it just.
So when people complain, you know, I'm on the 6-inch and I'm not getting enough water pressure, that's kind of crazy, because
So it just depends on what the condition of the pipe is and where you are. If that's feeding,
our pipes are all clean, when you cut them open, there's nothing in them. But I was always amazed, because most people don't know that they're tied into the
they know now.
tube.
You just told them.
Yeah,
I know, but they're. And then,
Well, if
and
they
the
have
water
enough
quality's
pressure,
still
it doesn't
good
matter.
too. Yeah.
but it has a good feed on it.
And there's no fire hydrant on it to flush it. On the 2-inch. But you can see right in front of, 71, that was my parents' house in 68. See the crossover right there from the 12
Yeah.
to the 2? That's how it gets fed.
So if they ever pave that street, we should try to jump everybody across.
Alright, so you got a lot of
Houses on that.
yeah.
Well, we got good sections of 2-inch pipe up there on the shelf that it doesn't always last. The insides are clean, but the outsides don't make it. But if that's sandy soil, it could stay.
It's all
good.
sand, it's pure sand up there. So I always found that interesting. Okay, so we all done with that?
Yeah.
Tom, you okay with the, what you're talking about? We're gonna have Ron Poland come in from 55 Prospect Street, but I guess he called and canceled. So now Wayne's gonna talk to us about station number 1 startup.
Yeah, that didn't go too well.
No, what happened?
So this piece of pipe, I was actually standing on top of that when it popped. It took me right up off my feet.
What was it, cast iron?
Yeah. So it looked like it rotted out right there where it went through the wall. There was a flange. So we had to go all the way inside and remove it out.
So, wait a minute.
Yeah. That's it.
Oh, that
That's
was,
sort of the
that,
inside and.
that was a vacuum pipe before.
Yeah.
And now you've converted it into a pressure pipe.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now I get the problem.
As soon as they started ramping up the pressure, that thing blew apart.
Yeah, well, that's understandable. It was always a vacuum pipe. Never was under pressure for the last 70 years.
So it took us, unfortunately, what it seems, the pipe was between the propane tank, the building, the underground propane line, the fiber line, the electric line, the instrumentation line, and the 100-foot tap line.
Great.
So we found the 100-foot tap line, and we kind of went right through that. That's what you see off to the left, just dangling there. So we had to saw cut our way in, and then work our way back out. So I replaced, where it looks like there were extra fittings, I took them out. I went back as far as I could. What we're connected to is the piece that comes out of, there's a T that goes off there, and that's where it heads back to the sand pit well, or the other end goes off out into the forest well. So I took it back and replaced it as much as I could.
What kind of pipe was it, Wayne?
It was cast.
Just cast regular?
So
Yeah.
you took it out to the C900.
We didn't go that far. I didn't want to go exploring. It took us days to do this as it was, so. I just took it back right to where the C900 is coming in. There's a T right there. You're actually looking at a T.
Did you put a big thrust block on that?
Yeah, you'll see it in a minute.
Okay.
But this is the T right here. That's the flange going out, and that's the gate going to the sand pit well. So the gate that existed, there were no 2 gates there. There's only 1 gate there, and that gate shuts off the sand pit well. Only. We haven't found any other gate going out to the other well. And when I had to pressurize this pipe, there might be some problems with the forest well. See, I got a nice thrust block in there.
Oh, yeah, good.
And it's a rolling, so I rolled on top of it too. There's the 100-foot tap. It's all back together.
So you started up?
Yep, I pressurized started up the sand pit well, and I pressurized to see, make sure nothing else was gonna pop, so there's no sense in bringing anybody back. Nothing popped. So then when I went over to the forest well, there wasn't much flow coming out of it, and over voltage warning came up on the VFD, so I just shut it down, and they can deal with it when they start up. It could be wired backwards, and that might be it. I wasn't gonna play with it. It's not my equipment, it's still theirs.
Yeah.
Yeah, they own it. Okay.
I'm surprised they weren't there the first time you.
Well, they were there when it blew apart.
piece of, it corroded up near the building?
Yeah, yeah. It was, yeah, it looked really rotted and it blew out right at the flange. So the 100-foot tap, we had no idea where that was. But it's way there in the woods between those two trees you're looking at. Of course, it wasn't perpendicular, so we went looking to the left. But that stake you see right there in the woods, that's it. So now we have an idea where that is and where the cross-country main might be, somewhere near it.
What is the 100-foot tap?
So you have to sample 100 foot out for your chemical mix.
So you have to
that's
bring
when
the
you run
water
back your
back,
instrumentation.
and you have to monitor your chemical.
So it's gotta run 100 feet from the main right there.
Yeah, you're 100 foot out when you bring it back and test it.
So we never knew where it was before?
It wasn't documented anywhere.
So we weren't testing it, because we weren't.
No, we were tied into it, but
We were
we
tied
didn't know
into it. He
which
didn't
day
have-
was
he
that
didn't
big.
have-
Oh, that's where it comes out of the main right there.
Yeah, so
That's where the
what you
main's
have to-
tap.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
I
we
got
couldn't
you.
shut it off, and it's an 1.5 inch line, so we had to live jump that. It was
I see.
kind of fun.
So you had to dig it back to there to shut the corporation
Well,
off?
we didn't dig back. What we did was, once we had it, we put we got an 1.5 inch valve and we slammed it on it and shut it down. Then we took the tracer and we stuffed it into it and we traced it back live.
Right.
And we traced it back right to
Oh,
there.
chased it back live.
Yeah,
Wow. Is there a gate box there? Little gate
it was
box?
a curb box,
Oh, there's a
yeah.
curb box there?
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's why you see that pipe and
I
it's
got
all
you, I got you.
exposed now.
Yeah, mark that thing good.
At some point, we should probably start tracing out our lines in the woods too, because those trees, it's transite out there. They're big trees, and they have a tendency to grab a transite main because it's always porous. It's wet, so in the past, we found them wrapped around it.
And that main's been out there in the woods for
A long time, yeah,
50
right up
years.
until whatchamacallit,
1960s.
he hit it,
40s.
the guy.
Yeah, almost 60 years.
Watson, yeah, Watson dug through it.
In that
when he-
house up here, right?
Yeah, when they were doing the perks.
We should try to mark it permanent. I said that a long time ago.
Well, we did, so what I've done is we've grabbed dimensions, we're gonna put it on the GIS, I haven't got out there yet, because I've gotta come off with something to get to it. And then it'll show up on the.
But even out there in
documents
the woods, it wouldn't hurt to have a marker of some sort. You never know.
now. No, that's why, if we ever have time, we'll start tracing.
Especially where it goes through some of these yards up in that neighborhood.
Right, like the fiber line, I bought 2-inch galvanized pipe, and we're gonna drive in 10 feet away
Put
from
some
the
medallions
things.
or something on it, because
Yeah.
out of sight, out of mind.
Norman Avenue goes right underneath the guy's grill.
Yeah, he's,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
'cause
not far from
they built that-
foundations up
yeah,
there.
they
Oh,
built
no, it's right
garage.
next to his garage.
Yeah, they
That's
probably
what they
shouldn't have
call
built that garage, it's gotta be right there.
Yeah, it's right next to his foundation.
And where it comes up out of the woods up on Mayolas.
And where,
Yeah, we have no
Woodland
idea,
Road,
there's a gate there,
on
but we've
Woodland
never
Road,
found it.
right at Waugh's house, right next to his stone foundation, the 12-inch AC mains, right next to his foundation.
There should be some markers of some sort. Maybe somebody come in that yard and start digging and hit it. Do we know where it is in Mayolas Ave?
We have an idea that where it is, but we have to go in and start excavating. It's like trying to find the
It
Bible,
used to
you have
be-
to dig down and
Years
find
ago,
it, and
you could
moving
come to
10
the end of
feet.
the road and you could see where they
Right.
drove down through it. Now you can't.
No, it's
It's all
vegetated
grown
in.
in and
Is there a gate box at the end of Mayolas there?
There's supposed to be, but we've never found one in the woods. We've never
Should be able to
found
find that with a metal detector, right?
We've,
we've looked,
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
yeah,
we looked and looked and looked, didn't find it. It's gotta be there though.
We should
because-
find those. If we ever had a problem, we want to isolate it.
yeah.
I'm looking for the list.
So before we can actually start up Station 1, what we're gonna do is isolate Norman Ave out, and we're gonna flush that transcon. Once Station 1 is running, I'm gonna flush it down to Norman Ave's hydrant, and then I'm gonna turn around and flush Norman Ave back to Station 1's hydrant, and that, everybody's isolated except for one person in there, and I'll let them know the day we're doing it. The other thing, at Station 1, the driveway, so there's no money in any of the budgets for the driveway, but the driveway down there is
Wait a minute, which
Station 1.
what happened to the blacktop money we had?
It's
Fencing
still
and
exists.
blacktop.
Yep, it's still there. There's
Okay,
still
so why don't we
about
use that?
60,000.
Huh?
Because we're gonna need a driveway, you can't turn around an 80,000-pound tanker in there. There's no road, the
Yeah,
road.
but we didn't
between-
set aside, I think it was like 60 or $70,000 for blacktop and fence. We spent half of it on fencing. And there should be about $30,000 in an article.
There is
for
more,
blacktop.
yeah, there's more than that in there for the blacktop.
Okay. So you got the money.
Yep, we'll have money and it's something we're gonna have to go out and do.
Yeah, 'cause we were gonna do, are you talking about Norman Avenue?
No, I'm talking about Station
Station
1.
Street? Station ones, yes.
Because from this point to this point, any tank will sink. We sink as it is, because you can see it all busted up there. There's nothing going in here to the back of the thing. We can't even get in there with the four-wheel drive backhoe. We had to drag the chemicals to the front of the building today.
Well, you better cut it out, put some good gravel in there, because that's all pure sand.
Yeah, we reached out to an engineer, and they recommended 8 inches of gravel and then 4 inches of dense grade on top of it before you blacktop.
Okay, so we can do that though, right? We can prep it up and let the blacktop company roll it with the compression?
Yeah, if we get time, time-wise, I know it costs more money for somebody else to do it because you're paying prevailing rate, but we're having a hard time doing everything we gotta do as it is. I'm not trying to take on any new projects if I don't have to. They come in with big machines, they'll scoop it all out. I got a backhoe and a excavator. So I've got an excavator turnaround spot for the big truck, and I've got to excavate all that.
Have you priced this out yet?
I have not, because we haven't gotten anywhere yet. Most of our time has been trying to get that station back together.
Yeah, saying under there, it's soft, just too soft to support anything.
Oh yeah, we
And
sink,
is it-
yeah.
But is it sand or is it something else?
Well, it's kind of mushy.
They probably just blacktop right over the top of the
Yeah,
sand.
it looks like they just threw blacktop. Truly.
It
just
was
over.
built in 1948, and that's the original blacktop,
Since 48.
since 1948. And I'm sure there isn't more than about 2 inches, you know?
Does the engineer talk to you about putting any kind of fabric on top of this, like you excavate it down to the sand and putting something on top of that before you put the gravel? So it doesn't just sink into,
I just asked what, that's what she does for a living, so we just asked what they usually put down for a road base when they get started.
We use that geofabric up to the iron removal plant, where they
Yeah.
drive over the septic.
well, that's the thing, there's a couple different kinds that if it's, because even if you excavate it out, if the base is crap,
Right,
it's gonna still go, it'll go soft on you, but
Right.
they've got all kind, and they're not expensive, those fabrics.
And they drive over that all the time with the water tanks and everything, and we never have even a crack
yeah.
in the blacktop up there. So the stuff works.
So the other problem we're having here is, we're having intruders. And if you look up above there's no seam like that. Is that the soffit? That's the soffit, right?
Yep,
There's no catch on the other side, so there's a gap there the whole way down.
yep, so what's
And there's-
crawling in?
Well, we have intruders and we've been fighting with them, but it's a losing battle. And we've watched them, they climb right up the side of the brick.
What are they,
Raccoon?
mice?
Yeah. So that has to I didn't want to spray foam it because it would look like crap. It needs
Yeah.
to be all pulled apart and
How
done.
about that plastic else stuff there that they advertise the most,
I mean, I can look, as long as the space got covered, then they can't get in. But right now, truly, we watched it when we were working there, they were going right up the side of the building.
well, find out what you can block the crack up with. You gotta be a product out there that you can seal it up with.
Yeah, there is. It's either the quick way and it's ugly, or take our time and put some good trim up there, some plastic wood or something to fill in the gaps
Okay, we'll do that.
behind it.
You don't wanna do something ugly just to fill.
No, I don't
fill it
wanna do anything ugly. I'm
So-
just bringing up there's more stuff to be done there than,
in. Yeah, just figure out what you need, you got the money anyway, so do it.
yeah.
Is that part of the new work that they were doing, changing the
No, that's-
building, or that's just how it was?
No, that's just how it was. But while we were there, that's when we discovered how they were getting in.
That was our most problem, years ago. Remember they used to get in there all the time?
Yeah, they kept tripping, I had to blank out the motion sensors because they
Yeah.
kept tripping them. They don't last long because the stuff in there is nasty. I'm glad I work in there. That's about it for Station 1.
Okay. Yeah, let's see.
Oh,
Station 1. Superintendent's vacation carryover.
Alright, so I remember telling you guys I did have my bike service, but somehow I just never got to take it out because they did the startup and then the startup went to heck and back, and so it looks like I'm gonna carry over 5 days if I start using time like hell right now.
I don't have any problem with it. Do you have any problem with it?
No, it's covered in your contract that you can do it, right?
Yeah.
That's fine. I don't want you to lose it.
No, I'll just take the rest of the month off.
So we'll take a vote on it. Here a second. Somebody make a motion to allow Wayne to carry over 5 days.
I'll make a motion when you carry over 5 days.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. There you go, Tom. Manley Street, well, 3B.
Yeah, remember when, I'm trying to find the picture now. So I had a lot of problems on startup. It's blurry, of course. There it is. So on startup, it took a lot to get that to pass. I kept failing for total call form, and because now you have to do an initial start sample, and then you have to do a 30-minute run sample. So you pull 2 raws, 2 treated. We always passed the treated, but I couldn't pass the raws. So about 8 tests later, I finally did pass. But Mayor came back and said that the flow test indicated that that well needs rehabilitation also.
How many gallons is it producing?
He did say, but I didn't listen because I wanted to get Norman Ave done because we were behind. Norman Ave hasn't been done yet, and I already know the flow dropped way off on that one.
Yeah, that one was supposed to be doing 500. I think we're down 300.
Yeah, we're down to like 350 something.
Which one, this one do?
That's a good well.
This one, that's the driveway well. It does about 100 gallons a minute. It doesn't do a lot.
We had surged that.
So it's
at
not even at
1,000
100 gallons a minute now?
It's probably less. I can't tell because they're a combined system.
Okay.
You don't have a meter on the individuals at all?
No, they used to have them, but they took them out because they didn't need them, and it's just another point for you follow out.
So what do you want to do there?
So if I have budget money left, I'll see if I can get it done this year, but we're past, we're up and running, so it's not a problem now, it's just to keep and that was the next well I was gonna do anyways, because that makes the circuit now. I've done all of the wells. Most of them I got done before the drought hit, but I never got to Norman Ave because I couldn't take it offline.
So that was spring project?
Yeah, well, it might be July, it depends upon if I have budget money left or not, because we've been going through a lot of money, so.
Yep. All right, well, no problem, let us know. Okay, surplus discussion. Terry and Wayne got some numbers together here, but we still need some more numbers. I added up, I'm trying to figure out where the surplus came from. And the Walnut Street tank mortgages was 64,000, principal and interest, 64,956. The tank painting, we had 148,000, 51,000, 14,000, and 5,230. So there was a total tank painting of 219,000, $225. And sprinkler fee, so that, what I did is I took 2/3 of that, and we put that to the industrial customers with sprinkler. Sprinkler fee expense, should have been 211,000, but we actually brought in 284,444, so in the surplus, we generated $73,338 from sprinkler fees,
Yeah.
more than we needed. So that money, we could earmark easily so that for tank painting, future, because that's where it came from the people that actually pay for the tank painting and that. Then tie-in fees, we brought in 73,480. So that is, that number over here Kerry gave me, right here. So that's from what we collected from new houses. And then water revenue, we brought in 1,714,570. But Wayne's gonna still, you gotta get what we actually spent last year.
Yep,
So he said, he thinks it was about $1.8 million. So we're somewhere around $90,000 short, which we would have spent some of that other money that we shouldn't have spent. So it looks like water rate should be adjusted up a little bit just to cover the operating costs. So, but we still haven't got, Wayne's gotta get and Kerry gotta get a couple more figures from the accountant and figure out, because this is all based on last year's money brought in last year's budget when it fell out of surplus, so. And just to give everybody a heads up, that's where we're at on the surplus. And any other surplus that's sitting there must have been from years before.
I think most of it's from that first year we raised the rate.
yeah, that's basically, yeah, it's
Just
just,
been carrying over.
Yeah.
We gotta look
We
at it.
overcompensated that one year, I think, and,
well, it was a combination of, you had meters that weren't calling in, you had a drought,
right, a whole bunch of things,
it's
yeah.
like a whole pile, it was the perfect storm,
So
unfortunately.
this is what we brought in right here, 1,788,000, Wayne,
Yes,
total for 18.
well, also, what you don't see here is, but you don't see what we don't get either.
So this is what we built.
Water leaks?
Yeah, you don't see, we take in money from water liens too, and we lean out money because people don't pay either, so.
So tell me what this number is right here, 2018.
That's what we committed to take in.
That's what we
That's what we
built.
said we'd take in.
Did we bill that?
Which
Yeah.
one? Which number?
This, with the 1,788,000.
Yeah,
That's what we billed, you would say?
yep,
But that's the basic access to land and finance?
That's everything, right?
That's everything.
Riser fees, that's everything.
yep, that's
The
everything.
total comes from the 4 commitments that we did last year, or the 4
Okay.
bills.
That's what I was. I
Yeah.
thought
So then,
that's what I
then we
was-
have to subtract out the risers.
Because those are included in the basic charge.
What I did is I took these numbers up here. Now, is this money collected or is this money billed?
This is the commitment, it's not what we actually collected.
Bills, commitment.
Well, so we need to look at what
We
we
need to look at
collected,
what we
what we
collected.
actually collected in cash, not what we sent out for bills, because they could be big, they could be a big difference.
And what did we budget for 2018?
It was
2 million.
1.9,
What was it?
my budget is like 1.9 something million, like 1.92, I think.
And what did we spend?
Last year, somewhere around 1.8 something, I don't know the exact number.
In payments, we took in 1.895.
We took it 1.895
That's the total we took in for payments.
for 2018.
Yeah, the water liens was
Okay. brought in 1895.
So we did take up in enough, well, what'd you say, 1.9 million you had, Wayne?
Yeah, 1.9.
What do you think we spent?
1.8 something.
So we're right there.
So we're right there.
Yeah.
So none of that surplus came from selling water, it came from other places.
Right.
Because we got the rate set just right to pay the bill. Now that money, the 1895, that doesn't include these riser fees, does it? We gotta subtract those out. And we gotta subtract out tie-in fees.
Water means we took in 196,201.52.
Okay. We count that as water, that's water.
Mm-hmm. I just don't have it's not on our system, it's on the account town accounts, so I don't know.
Okay.
what that is.
All right, well, we got till January to figure this out, so let's, we'll just continue the discussion next meeting. We get some more information. Okay? Figure out what this,
I'm still wrapping my head around how all this stuff goes together, so
okay.
more the time the
You
better.
okay with that, Tom?
Yeah, more information, better.
Okay. Rotary Farm discussion. What's happening? Oh, I put that on there.
Yeah, it's not me.
Okay, it was mentioned to me years ago, we used to have, what's his name? Hay that, so we didn't have a hay, a field fire over there with dried up hay.
Yeah.
Coit. And I guess he isn't paying it anymore. So I guess he had Clint Howard go over there. And then Emily Anderson
Yeah.
asked me about the field. So there's other people interested in it, and I thought we should maybe put it out to bid or something like that. Because there's other people who are interested in it. What do you guys think? This is right behind John Cruz's.
Just the hay, I mean, Emily Anderson isn't looking to put like beef cows out there,
No,
right?
no,
Just
just
to
to hay it, just so she can hay it and bring the hay home. And I guess Clint Howard's interested in it, and that'd be young Clint, I guess.
I thought Clint and Billy hayed together, huh?
I understand that, I don't know. I don't know,
I know they hay up behind my house, and half the time Billy cuts it and Clint bales it, so I don't. Did somebody say that?
I have no idea. To me, it looks
I
like
don't-
somebody's riding something around out there, though.
That's probably
Well,
John
fine.
Cruz. See that roadway? I bet you that's John Cruz, but he's got a buggy there.
Does he?
Yeah, he's got one of those John Deere things.
All I know is I'm glad somebody hates it.
Paul, I
already
think.
mowing enough
I think
lawns
Paul
as it is.
drives it around there.
Yeah, there's no harm in putting out a request and see if somebody wants to pay us to.
Well, I mean, do we wanna change from what we were doing? I don't know if Billy's still, how do we know Billy gave it up?
Well, I heard that Clint Howard hated it this year, and so Emily asked me about it. And, how do we do it? And I said,
It's a valid-
years ago, there was only one person around that wanted it, that wanted to hate it, and that was, what's his name there? Coit. So we gave it to him. We just didn't want to catch it on drying up, catch it on fire.
Hey, John's got the fire truck there, he can go put it out.
I thought, whatchamacallit, I thought Mark McLeod bought that fire truck.
Well, I know it's been sitting in his
I know, it's.
driveway.
it's-
Maybe
I mean,
he did.
especially if we do have someone else who's in town farming asking about it, we probably should put out, because there's value to it.
Yeah.
So to say you're giving it to somebody isn't right
Right.
either.
So, well, why don't we ask for proposals or bids on it and see what anybody else, and then if there's anybody else out there, I don't know if there's other guys out there in town that would be interested in it?
Possibly. I know that like the guys that do the state field, they're over off of Maple Street, they have trouble getting people, it doesn't,
Yeah.
the state puts it out, but.
Just put up a rotating list, this year it's this one, next year it's that one.
So why don't we, what do you think, just put out a proposal
I just
for
say put
the,
out a request for proposal to the, well, anybody interested, just like you do like
yeah,
for anything
well,
else.
let's see what we get. And then we'll go from there.
I mean, it's cut now, right? It doesn't
Yeah, I
mean-
think
it doesn't
Yeah,
mean-
somebody's cutting it down.
How we're gonna advertise it?
Same way we advertise any public thing in that local newspaper. And
Well, it's kind of a town.
the easiest thing to do is tell anybody,
I don't
any
think-
farmers that
I
you
don't
think
think
you
you
may
can
know
keep
that might be interested.
I mean, we could do that, just farmers in town, ask if they're deceased.
Interested. The other one would be, what's the farmer up on,
Demoulas?
yeah, the Wallace. I don't know if they probably got plenty of hay up there in their own neck of the woods, but
Yeah, but you never know, I mean, it'd be worth asking if you put it out to all the farms in town as opposed to just general outside.
I can post it on the town website if
You
you.
should post
There
it,
you go.
right? Yeah, it's gonna be publicly posted.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
oh, no, it has to be publicly out, but I mean, I don't think this.
hang
I don't
up
think
on the
there's
side
an
of the
issue
town
of
hall
restricting
too.
it to town farmers.
Yeah.
Where would you post it, Karen?
On the town website
Okay.
and the town hall.
Proposals by when?
Well, it wouldn't be, if they've hated it now, it's not gonna be.
Well, it's not gonna be till next year now.
Well, I mean,
Haying's over.
I get it.
It'd be a proposal for next year.
But I mean, when do we advertise it and then,
Whenever.
Well, if you do it now, that way it's all set for next year, you know?
yeah, so
Yeah.
We don't,
get proposals.
I don't wanna have to go out there and start cutting it ourselves.
No.
Okay, so, do I hear a motion to do that?
Well, we can't take a vote, it was just a discussion.
Okay.
Yeah, so put it on the agenda, and then maybe we can check, just make sure we can restrict it like to the town farmers, and that we do it, we don't have to go out to general. So for something like that, I wouldn't think you'd have.
So we'll just put it on the agenda for the next meeting then. Okay. 2019, discussion about summer goals. I want to put that on the agenda.
I plan on taking vacation.
Huh?
So they plan on trying to use
Your
my
summer goal's
vacation.
gonna be used the
Yeah,
light next
use up
year?
my time next year.
Well, one of the things I noticed just going around town is that the hydrants need painting really bad. Some of them are really, really getting rusted. And they haven't been done in a long, long, long time. And a lot of the newer hydrants that we replaced, they're even starting to rust. So,
Yeah, they changed their paint formulation, so that won't happen anymore.
oh yeah?
But
Yeah,
we still have to deal with the ones that,
the ones that exist, yeah, but then we'll have to just go around.
Yeah.
I know where to buy the white paint at, and I have the black paint. I had all the supplies and where to get them, but we just
Well,
didn't
I
have
was
enough
also
time.
getting concerned because there's so many hydrants now that have been replaced, that none of them are color coded. So most of the streets have, like Pinecrest Road, or any of those, Matfield Street has 3 water mains. Has a 6, an 8, and a 12. And some of the hydrants are within 10 feet of each other. And a fireman from out of town who would come
they're not.
and tie, but there's a hydrant right by Tommy's son's house, and right now, I'm not even sure if I know, without looking at the GIS map, which one is tied to the 12. The one on the left or the one on the right, and they're only a few feet apart. Used to be, the one with the 12 had green caps. The other one had orange caps. So the firemen would always go for the green caps because it's a larger main. But we're starting to lose our color coding, and I think that, and I don't know if our guys even know about the color coding, the crews. So we need to make sure that everybody understands the color coding, and we used to do it too for the municipal aid, so that if West Bridgewater called in another town and they got into a situation like that,
Didn't know.
they knew the color coding. Red meant it was a 4-inch main, don't bother. There's no water in it. And orange meant it was an 8-inch main, which wasn't too bad. And then green always meant it was larger than a 12, it was usually a 12 or a 16. So, and there's, all over town, we have 2 water mains on the streets, you know, and there's a lot, the reason why we haven't shut off a lot of those old water mains is because the houses are still being fed off of the 4-inch or the 6-inch. And the hydrants are only there with the red caps. If we fix a water service, was to get rid of the air in the 4-inch water line. It would never be used for fire protection because there wasn't enough water in it. And those hydrants never had steamers on them. And the 12-inch always had steamers so the fire trucks could draft out of them. So I'd like to see more maintenance on the painting and the color coding and that, because that's kind of falling behind. And then the gate operation, I was hoping to get, at least a third of them done this year, and we didn't do any, did we?
We haven't yet. If we ever get free, I'll still go out, but
Yeah, I don't think, cold weather's gonna be setting in now, so. It's been like 3 years now, hasn't it, since we operated? 3 or 4?
well, maybe 4, because we did meters for like 3 years straight.
Yeah, so it's been a long time, and you're gonna end up with gate boxes that they're gonna be full of sand, that you're gonna have to clean, and when I retired, all the gate boxes were in good shape, and they were all empty as we had sucked them all out, but a lot can happen to them in that length of time, so I'd like to see us start getting onto a maintenance plan of that again.
It's all the time and people.
Well, although at least the ones that are gonna pop up to be used in the unidirectional flushing, because that,
Those would be the first ones.
I say, you start with those, because that's gonna kill you when you go out to try to
Yeah.
start running that program next year. If they go out, try to get on a valve and they can't get on it, or it doesn't work.
Years ago, we used to do that. Before we went out to do the flushing, the gates that we had to operate, we used to go out the day before and vacuum them out, and make sure that we knew which ones they were gonna be and make sure that we could get on them. So that when you get out there in the dark, you weren't, fishing around for the nut. So,
Most of them are clean except for where construction has occurred, but they do, DEP does want you to be exercising them. Another one of their finicky mandates.
It's to our benefit anyway.
Yeah,
the other thing, I think that when you were replacing the hydrants, we should look at, what mains are we gonna try to eliminate? Now, you take a street like Union Street. Union Street has a 4-inch water main, it also has an 8-inch.
yeah.
And the contractor tied the 8-inch into the 12 that's up on East Street, goes down Union, loops around Apple Lane and all that. So, and it loops all the way down through and comes back out on the other side of East Street. But that 4-inch is still there on Union Street, and we were trying to get the houses disconnected from the 4, so we could just cut it off and cap it. Because, but you gotta change the services on Union Street, because everybody in the new subdivisions are all on the 8. But there's half to 2/3 of the houses on Union Street that are still on the 6 or the 4, whatever it is. But we should try to get rid of it because it's not needed. And there's no sense in replacing a hydrant on that old water main when we're gonna cut the main off and cap it and
Right,
just
you gotta
abandon
do
it.
away with it.
So, and I think we did. I think we put a new hydrant down there, down by Falls Aranos, down by Thrill Hill.
There is a hydrant there, yes.
Yeah, is that on
It's
the
on-
8 or is that on the
No,
old?
it's on the new one, cause we cut that off, we had that leak on a Friday after evening, and
Okay,
We
so
cut-
that's on the new one, not
Right.
on the old main? There
Right.
used to be one on the old main.
most of them down at that end have been jumped over.
Okay, but we need to look at each street before you replace a hydrant. And just make sure that we're not wasting money replacing a hydrant, that we're gonna cut the main off and then
Yeah.
rip the hydrant out. So, that's all I wanted to say about that.
And that can actually be just in general
Well,
exercise
that's,
with a map.
I've been working with the DPW, they're supposed to in the spring sit with me and let me know what roads they might be thinking of doing that year. So that if it's one of the ones where we have a 2-inch main and I can get out and jump customers off of it and get rid of it, then it's a good idea, cause I'm not, the patches I do, I don't have to be critical with. And I gotta pave it over anyway, so we just take it out.
Well, you got a 2-inch up on High Street, right?
It's-
Still a 2-inch
No,
up
they
there.
paved the road. They paved the road.
But
They
that's
never
why
said-
it really should be,
That one should have been
That gets
replaced, 'cause that
coordinated.
one's blown apart a few times, but they went and paved the whole road, so,
High Street?
yeah, that's
They
the
did?
one up behind Honeydew?
Yeah.
Yep, they paved it.
Oh,
Church Street, they
Yep.
paved that in Church Street, and it should have been taken down and connected into, I can't think of the name of that road that runs back there.
you know, we've talked a couple of times, about better coordination with
Right.
what their plans are, so we can get in
Right.
and do stuff before we get locked out for it, you know, once it's paved.
Right, yeah, cause right now I'm blocked out on doing a hydrant on, West Street. You wanna replace it and I can't, they won't give me the road opening permit, cause it was paved.
where's the one on West Street you wanna
And
do?
it's down, so it's tough, cause the drawings say one thing and the construction plans say another thing.
Where's that one?
Let me make sure I go in the right spot. So I believe it's right in here somewhere. And I'll make sure that we're changing one out on the correct, you can tell by the address of 500s versus the other ones. But the actual construction drawings say that this transite main is supposed to be on the other side.
What do you mean, on the other side?
This street? No, the construction drawings show it on this side. It was supposed to be run on this side. But I don't have any dimensions to anything off of any drawings anywhere.
So, on those water services, do you have dimensions, how far it is across the street?
No, there's not too many dimensions there at all. So it doesn't.
Oh, where it
help me.
says street, you see that one, is there any dimensions how long that line is?
Alright, so
No,
there's
the other
nothing
one.
there.
Yeah, that one right there,
Yeah, no, there's nothing.
nothing?
No,
So you
I've tried in the worst way.
Curb stop, but not
Right.
to the-
I've tried to prove it out some way without, that's why I was hoping to change the hydrant, because then we just do some exploratory and figure out which side is it actually on.
Yeah.
Well, before I retired, it wasn't too long ago, we had a leak right there. We dug that all up for some reason.
Trying to think, I don't remember working in that section. I know we worked up at the intersection, but I don't think,
We worked right there.
the only other place I remember working was,
It was you actually used some of your vacation time.
yeah. Somehow, even though I miss some things, there's some time of waiting for when I get back. I know we did this, we worked right here at that beacon crossover thing. We did something there, but I don't remember working anywhere else. We worked
Yeah,
right
right
in this
there
area.
at 131.
Yeah. We
Yeah,
worked-
that's what I was talking about.
But I don't ever remember seeing, I don't remember now, because it was so long ago, what we actually did there. But I think it had to do with the crossover. We had some issues where we had a leak. And we were trying to figure out how to shut off Beacon Street.
Yeah, that's probably what it was, that crossover that goes through the park there.
Right. But we'll see, maybe next year it'll work better, you know.
See, now that street's got two one-ways, see them side by side? There's a 6 and there's a 12. there's 2 water mains, and there's 2 sets of hydrants going all the way down the road.
Right.
They're all color coded, because some are green caps and some would be orange caps.
But we need to get them all so that they still look that way and people can tell when they drive up on it.
Right. And when the firemen are in a hurry, it's so much quicker and easier for them just to have a color code.
Well, the problem is we're maintaining two water lines.
And that's, you know, eventually we can switch them over, get rid of them.
That the whole town has, there's a lot in town.
No, it's, well, we eliminated, there used to be a 4-inch water main that was from the center of town, and it went down East Center Street, and it went right through Trukey's parking lot, way up in the middle of the parking lot, 'cause that's where the road used to be.
Yeah.
And we cut it off at the center, and then we cut it off, down by the golf course. And then later on, we were able to get everybody off of it. We cut it off it took a left at Chisholm's, we went down and we cut it off at Chisholm's Farm. And then later on, after that, we cut it off at the Matfield Corner Market. So from the center of town
That was all.
to the Matfield Corner Market, we eliminated an old 4-inch water main. But it took quite a few years to eliminate all the services off of it and get them tied over to the bigger main. And that's, you know, you just do it gradually, but you don't want to be spending money putting hydrants on that main if you're working to get rid of it. And we have just like that main right there, if we got a brand new main on that street and it's 12-inch, there's no sense in having a 6-inch that's, 100 years old, when you got one that's only 40 years old and it's 12-inch and it's got all the hydrants. If you could cut it off and eliminate it, work to that goal rather than put more money into spending hydrant money when you'd be using it for something else.
And if if that would put the hydrants too far apart, instead take the time in and put the hydrant onto the bigger main.
The hydrants on all the new stuff is 500 feet on the AC mains.
So if we have them on both, we actually have them closer together. no?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Wasn't sure if that was being
Yeah,
counted
no,
as 500 feet.
No, they wouldn't have counted them. They did,
Okay.
on the 12-inch, they did 500. It didn't matter where the other one was. And that's why, like on Matfield Street, there's 2 hydrants almost side by side.
Yeah, because you got the 3 mains out there.
Yeah.
Okay, so scratch that suggestion.
So, do you want to discuss something about manpower again?
Well, I could beat it to death. So we actually delayed the repairs to Station 1 because I didn't have enough people to do it, and I couldn't put one guy in the hole and one guy servicing the town. So we had people using time and other people being sick. Most towns that have a filter plant have a dedicated person to the filter plant. Our filter plant suffers because of that we can't put enough time into it. And we have problems maintaining our quality coming out because we don't get there enough to air scour as we should be doing. We don't get to do the chemical tests we're supposed to do. I don't know what I call it. The other thing is the GIS. It's great that we have somebody inputting the stuff, but it really should be a full-time, part-time position so that when this good thing about documenting, but it's getting the documentation into the computer. And I'm sure most of the stuff that we hit at Station 1 was documented. It just nobody ever had time to get it on the system so that we knew it existed. You're more in crisis mode here. We're a utility and you have to stay running no matter what. It doesn't matter if you got documentation sitting there, you have to stay running. People want water when they turn on their faucet. Just like you want electricity or gas.
What do you think after looking at the numbers, Wayne, as far as, what we build and what we spent for our budget and trying to hire another guy?
I mean, when I start doing the numbers in January, then I'll show you both sets.
Both sets, meaning.
I'd show you just
With-
the way
with-
we're going and then if we added somebody, but I understand that the cost that we pay them, it's double because you have benefits that you have to supply to the minute you get into the full-time, part-time status.
I think the hard thing for us is, we're a small town.
Right,
We're
Right.
7,000 people. East Bridgewater is, you know, I don't know.
No, I know, they're all double our
15,000.
size, they
They
have
double,
more
yeah,
people.
Bridgewater's 24,000, so they can probably.
Right, they have
Which
better
at
ways
the-
to
Which at
hide
the
it.
same time is why the more you can document how many hours it takes to do certain things, it's easier to justify a full-time position if, let's say for the filter plant, for dealing with that, if you can show how many hours and what comes off, and what we're not getting done because somebody's trying to cover that.
Right.
What's not getting done at there because there isn't somebody dedicated.
I mean, it's good to do our own construction when we do projects too, because you are saving money against the prevailing rate. You just have to have the people to still do the other stuff too.
I'm more concerned with getting, when we hire somebody, that you're gonna hire somebody that's got experience enough to do the things you want them to do. Like, you can't hire somebody off the street and then send them up to scour the iron removal plant and to run the iron removal plant. We gotta get somebody that's gonna be experienced enough so that, because it doesn't do us any good to hire somebody like that, and then you have to go up there with them anyways.
Yeah.
Somebody has to go up there and stand and teach them. You know, we need to be able to hire somebody that that has some experience with it, and that you can send them up there and,
The guys are getting better. The last time we had problems with the Parco valve, because I've been preaching about keeping all the lights working, they were able to actually trace it almost all the way back to the problem. But I still came in and we found it and fixed it, but they're getting better as you have to see the problem in order to know how to fix the problems. Every problem's unique. We're still having problems with the radio antennas relay between Manly, the tank, and the tank to here. Mostly the tank to here.
Cut down those big trees out there.
It's like,
Because that's line of sight, right? 'Cause that's what's.
Yeah, it's basically line of
it's being
sight.
blocked.
those drops that you see there, those aren't drops where we weren't using any water. That's drops where the system shut down. I lost my signals. And you don't have anything screaming at you. If you don't look at the screens to catch it, you don't know. Like, we thought Main Street was down all one day, and it wasn't. It was actually running away. It couldn't communicate. And then suddenly it communicated, and it knew what to do. But
So-
Manly will run independently as long as it can see the tank, but if it doesn't see the tank, it just runs blind.
so we discussed that before. You're gonna try cutting down some trees here or something, or should we move the pole to the top of the hill, or?
Well, I have so Mike gave me the guy who sells us the transmitters. So I'll get in touch with him and see, is there a way I can do signal strengths? Is there more powerful radios to send the thing? Obviously, we have the antenna down here in the bowl, and it probably should have been up at the top of the hill. It would have been a little better, because you gain almost 20 feet in elevation.
Yeah, why don't you try that and see what they
Right.
say.
So I'll get in touch with him when I have time.
Well, since we built this building in
Yeah, all the
1980 something,
trees.
these trees have grown a
Well,
lot.
I'm sure that this was all clear cut, and there are trees behind the building now that I wish weren't there.
Well, it'd be that direction, and those pine trees are getting huge.
Yeah,
I'm sure that that's why you're not getting your signal through there, it's those
Yeah, if
trees.
it's being blocked, I don't know if there's something, you can't really boost it
no.
to get through. It's gonna have to either be relocated or trees down, enough of them just to make that
Right.
signal.
And it's a perfect system, because in any storm, when you lose power lines, that's still working. We have generators and everything. So we still communicate. It's just, we need to just,
So why don't you just look into that, and see if there's, you know, a cost of moving the pole up there and running the wire up there, and see what we gotta do to cure it, or if it's cheaper to add height to this one, or cut the trees
Well,
down
I
on
say,
top of the hill.
it might just be a few trees that need to
Yeah.
come.
I just
Take the trees out of there,
Yeah,
They'll lift and go up there and stuff.
see what's the cheapest option, but you gotta do something.
forestry department to come and do it.
They don't, my guys will work on a lift. Well, there's two of us that will. The rest will be run.
So, mainly street lagoons you got on there.
Yeah, well, that's still, I haven't got there, that's winter work, so hopefully if we get to that, the plan is still to lower the center base, the center strip down so that we can get into
I was
the back
thinking
basin.
about that, you know, that's all gonna be gravel, they put they put gravel in there.
Yeah,
If you're gonna bring that, taper that down, you better blacktop that strip, because if the rainwater starts going down, you're gonna, if that erodes, it's all gonna end up in the bottom of that pit, and
Yeah.
that lagoon, you don't want it down there.
right.
So, you know, if you're gonna taper it down, because there's only stone dust on there right now, but it's flat. But if you're gonna taper it and we're gonna get erosion,
Well, we could put fabric back over it, if when we put the riprap back up to the edge and then
Or
use
replant it.
reprocess, blacktop on
it's
it.
not planted,
Planted now?
it's stone
I
dust.
think there's weeds growing.
No, it's just
Yeah,
weed,
but
it's just, it was meant to basically be a road around the thing. It wasn't meant to be grassed or anything.
Right, it's not,
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
supposed to be
road, and it's a road in the
Yeah,
middle.
gravel right around it.
Well,
But
if you slope it, the other thing, they make those, almost looks like cylinders, like empty cans that go, but it's in a plastic roll that you
Yeah.
can roll out and you fill it in,
Yeah,
and it's for crappy soil so that the trucks won't erode it too much, but it'll also keep all that material from coming out.
right,
The other thing, don't forget, there's 2 gate boxes in there.
yeah, I wasn't gonna go back
Because
that far. with
that's
it.
set up with a pipe coming out, and then it tees off to the 2 lagoons.
Yeah.
And there's 2 gate boxes, so you could use one lagoon or the other lagoon.
Yeah, but that's back like at the entrance end. of the
Right,
lagoon,
exactly.
That- Wayne's only talking about being back in.
Okay, but I'm just saying,
Further
if
down.
they go in there and they start scraping, don't forget.
What are you
they-
talking, Wayne,
they-
like
I think they're buried, you know.
I wasn't gonna
down
come
in
back
couple
that
inches.
far.
Not
We
even
just-
50 feet?
No,
No, it's not
We just-
much. It's just
No.
taking the sharp edge off so you can
right, so we
in
can
and
get
out
to
of
the
it.
back lagoon, just so
Yeah.
it's low enough you can get the truck in there and load it and then come back up.
The truck and excavator on the same plane. and
Right.
work.
Yeah,
I just wanted to remind you, those gate boxes are there, 'cause they're underneath the stone bus. Let's see. 700 West Center Street.
I have had contact with her, we have it back, we'll formulate a plan if I can. We'll get people free for the end of the month, cause we're getting ready to bill. So sometime between now and the end of the month, I wanna get in and switch it out, so on the next billing cycle, it'll be billed out.
So they got it all figured out. She's gotten in touch with the.
Yeah,
tenants.
she's gotten back to me with the names, she checked back my work, I checked hers, and then,
Good. She's good to work with. She's on it.
yeah, there's 17 meters to go in there, and
Good.
That's the end of the old business. Do you have anything after you on the?
so, did I put, maybe nothing, I can't, so the highway department had a letter that they wanted, and they wanna formulate an agreement. Maybe I didn't give it to you.
You gave the,
So I was waiting, I'll bring it up at the next meeting, I'll put it on the agenda, but, cause it's not on the agenda this time, but they wanted an agreement in place so that going in the future, when I'm not here or Chris isn't here, that it's an agreement that after 1 year, that the highway takes over any of the paving. Any patches we do become the town's responsibility.
They want
They want a signed document between the water department and thing. I still don't think we should be paving at all, but
so they want us to do the patch, but they're gonna
Right.
come back and do the permanent.
well, no, they'll work with us if we request their help in doing the patches. But at the 1 year mark, it becomes their responsibility. I asked them to.
If we have them help us, right?
Right, well, they wanna get away from helping us too, I think.
But I thought that's why they bought all that big fancy equipment. They bought grinders and everything, they said.
I
They
don't
didn't
know
buy
what they bought the
anything.
grinders for. It wasn't for our work, that's for sure. But maybe they should have done the sidewalk along
But
Howard.
they said they'd help us if we get in a jam doing the paving, right?
Right.
Do they have a hot box?
They do have a hot box, and
Yeah,
we've
so I
used
mean-
it before.
So there's gonna be times where that's handy, so.
Right.
Let them help us if they'll help us.
No, I still use, we still call them, we just haven't done any outside work because we've been tied up with Station 1.
Yeah.
But they wanna have that agreement signed. I asked them to maybe, what I kicked back at them was
I think we
maybe
wanted to
that
discuss
in the
more.
language, it should be at the beginning of the next construction year, like in March. Drive around, look at all our patches, do you like them, don't you like them? If you don't like them now, we'll rip them out, what do you think? Should I rip them out or should I put some blacktop on it and you're gonna be okay? Cause at 1 year, you're gonna own it.
Get us a copy of the agreement so we can read
Yeah,
it.
it's gonna say, we'll go through it first and decide what we want. Because we don't want it to stick you with something that
Yeah,
doesn't
right.
have to be anything extra somehow or other depending on.
Because I was to the understanding that they had all these grinders and hot boxes and everything that they had brought, and we were gonna work together on the patching. Now all of a sudden.
No, I think they still want. I think
They just
still-
wanted to, so they're just saying that at the 1 year mark, that they'll sign off and,
Well,
It's a good thing for us, that means after.
between
if we
zero
do a
day, yeah, but between
Right.
0 day and 1 year, how's it gonna get patched?
No, if we do a
No.
good job, a year
Right.
later and the patch is still good, they're gonna take responsibility, it's out of our hands.
So are we gonna use their hot box?
Yeah,
we
no,
can use
yeah.
their hot box anytime, I have used it
Oh,
before.
okay.
That was the agreement, they'd help us with,
Oh, when we had that meeting, we were talking about this stuff.
Yeah.
We just wanna make sure what's written out is,
yeah, I just wanna see
Yeah,
what's written, I
makes sense,
don't
yeah.
really know what this agreement is, I'd like to read it.
Do you
Put it on
want
the
it-
agenda for the next
You want me to
meeting.
print it, or,
oh,
Well, it's not on the agenda today,
it's
so
not on the agenda, so you can't vote,
So,
or sign it.
give us a copy of it, next meeting we'll read it,
Alright,
or email it to us, we can read it in the meantime.
yep,
We'll provide a man. We'll provide a man or men needed. Who knows how long it's gonna take?
depends, every patch is different.
Yeah,
Luckily,
so-
we've been lucky for a while now,
But
so,
that just says they're gonna give you one man.
that's all we really
You
need.
may, well, you may need one man, you may need 2 men.
Yeah, I mean, if I have a water leak, I usually pull in some of the guys anyways, once we go
Well,
over
how much
time.
of the sign it, so it says both.
That looks like they look willing to work with us, which is what we'll do.
Right,
The two departments should work together, I don't see any problem with that.
although if they've got a guy with us doing, when we're doing the patching, then just assume we don't have to own it for a year and go out and do repairs if there's issues with it, let highway.
Once this has been accomplished, so they're gonna train us, and then once it's been accomplished, the water department will be responsible for patching their own holes. So they're not gonna help us anymore. And then they'll own the patch for 1 year. So there isn't any cooperation after they train us. I don't like that agreement. I think so they're only gonna send you 1 man, he's gonna train you.
usually we get Mike.
No, they're gonna, I think they're still gonna help us.
Yeah, it's not, it's just
Well, Read
communicating.
number 3.
I see that, but,
Well, you can't read into it, you gotta read what it
A
says.
man to assist at any road project to the water departments. So that means every one of them, they'll have it.
Yes,
they'll
every
have
time I've
the
asked,
guy.
they've sent a
They're not gonna
person.
stop helping us.
No,
And they'll train the people in the department for how to do the patch. Number 2 doesn't really matter, other than that they should be training the water department to do that stuff. But then if that's done, you say if you have an area that's tough, with for whatever reason, you start losing the patch, now the water department has to go back out and keep repatching
Right.
for the first year.
If
I'd
you have a
rather
bad
see
hole, you
that.
have a bad hole. I've been patching for 14 years now, so.
I mean, how often would you
I mean,
have one
basically,
you
we're
have
not
to go
having any
back?
trouble with the patches now, right?
No.
They stay, if you
Right.
compact your
All
way
the
up.
time, they're gonna it's just the nature, you're not gonna get it back to natural compaction. We don't have the
You
equipment
get
for
it
that,
pretty
and they
close,
don't.
with the proper material, and coming up in layers, you won't have a problem, but, and good asphalt techniques, I mean, there were times that we were putting too much in and hope, thinking it would settle and come into grade, you can't do that. You
Yeah,
know?
it doesn't work that
Right,
way.
right, so, since you fine tuned it, we've been doing better, right?
Do you think leaving it, with us owning the patch for a year would work out with you guys, or do you think you're,
Well, that's been the way it was supposed to always been, but suddenly I was repairing things years and years past the point, that's
So
why I
this is a
finally
good
so
had.
this actually
Right.
makes it, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, your patch has been good lately, there's been no issue, right?
right.
Well, you haven't had any big
We haven't had any
big
real
sopping wet
disasters.
water leaks in the middle of the highway either, you know? That's
Really
kind of middle of Route 28 or something. Those are the ones that sink because the ground's so saturated, and when you start backfilling, it's mush. It keeps, so, it depends on the hole. If it's a dry hole and you backfill it, they usually stay.
And if it's real bad, if we're gonna own it for a year, put road plates for a couple of days, and then go back and
Put plenty of
patch it.
sand in it if it's a real wet one, and you know what to do.
Yeah.
All right, put that on the agenda for next meeting?
Yeah.
You got anything else, Tom?
Well, what were the other things in the packet, the farms, the stuff we need for like the next, to put on the agenda
Oh,
for the
that, I
next
put
meeting?
that on you because I sent that out to, I read the planning board's minutes, and he's trying to close out his project. So part of that project in the beginning of the farms, they were supposed to give us a drainage swale to drain the tank.
Was it on the subdivision plans?
So I looked, they were talking about he was gonna convert the lot behind the tank to a house lot, which was supposed to stay vegetated, and it's not. So that's why I sent what you
That's
see
that's
there.
on the farms, not the Pearl Road subdivision.
Right, but if we drain that tank, it's Pearl Road that's gonna get flooded out. It's not the farms, it's Pearl Road that's
So-
gonna get wiped.
Who agreed to a swale?
I'm not sure, I remember it being discussed here, it was supposed to be a drainage thing, getting the water away from Pearl Road and down towards the lake.
Who said that? Who said they were gonna do that?
I don't, it was when you guys, it was you, Hugh, and whoever, I just remember the discussion occurring.
Did we ever see it on a plan? Was there ever?
I don't know if they'd ever made a plan, that's why I sent off the letter to them, that's why you're seeing it now, because I
This is,
saw
this is
it.
to the planning board?
Yes.
Okay.
So I let them know that that hadn't occurred, I don't want him closing out the projects. He's not closing out his projects anyways, because he doesn't seem to be able to fix anything. Or to their liking,
Planning
So-
boards?
yeah.
And it's in their planning board minutes also? So,
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Because all we have is a little tiny room for overflow in
Yeah,
the
right.
back.
And
It
after
doesn't
that-
go anywhere.
No, and
It used to just kind of overflow into the field, but now there's houses there, so.
yeah, and you can't use the drainage thing, that house sold, they ripped out all of those sump pumps. Those sump pumps were there for a reason, because that drain had gotten destroyed, so it goes right into that house across the street.
Oh,
Cross Walnut?
Yeah,
That's where that runs down to?
yeah, that when they built that new house. Oh, here's this thing on, I'll skip that.
Does the town have a drainage easement across the street, Wayne?
There's something there, but I'm not sure who owns what there. Right here. This 360, so I believe we were draining into there and it's 364. Or 362.
It would just flow across the street?
Yeah, so they built, so I think they built 362, was a new house, and they crushed the line or something, and it runs right on the, by 364. So it floods his house, or they moved it, and somebody else bought it, rehabbed the house there.
Yeah, 364 got rebuilt.
Yeah, he pulled all of the sump pumps out, from what I understand.
Out of his basement?
Yeah, well, it wasn't really a basement, it was a slab towards the front. And that's why you had dual sump pumps, because
I
that
remember
drainage
that,
thing.
that was a long time ago.
Yeah, that's the last time we drained the tank.
Yeah, because I remember those pipes, where the pipe came out in the woods over there, no water came out of it.
Right, it's crushed somewhere in there when they backfilled that lot, they
I
crushed
remember
it.
that. Yeah, it was aluminum, it was aluminum pipe, and they crushed it.
Yep,
Okay, but that's only for draining the tank, right? That doesn't deal with the over.
Well,
No, that's a street drain.
yeah, but now we can't get there anyways, because they put a road in the way. In the past, we
What,
ran,
there's a road in there?
well, the farm road is now in our way. If I had to run a hydrant hose out to that drain, I have to go across the farm road.
Oh, I see. But there's a catch basin right on the other side of the farm road, right?
Yeah,
Right,
well, it's a
right
little,
where that truck, it looks like there's a truck there, just beyond that?
yeah, somewhere in that area.
Okay, so that catch basin runs over to, was it 364?
I don't think they have,
Down
Well,
south of the property line? Is that where it ran?
yeah, it runs more on the 364 side. That
Yeah.
thing is almost,
Yeah, so
Further
that
over
takes
than
a
you
street drain. That's a street drain, not, and somebody crushed so the town must own the crushed pipe.
I don't know. All All I know is we have no way to drain that tank now.
That's a problem.
So if you have to do it in the tankers, they hold 9,000 gallons at a shot.
No, but I mean, if it's a crushed drain line, and like you said, it's a town, then highway department.
Well, we'd still have to get it over to us
Well,
over
but
here. That's
if-
why the swale was supposed to occur, so that we could drain out behind it.
Slide over to the right,
Where was the
please.
swale supposed to go?
It's supposed to run behind the tank and get it down, to run downhill. Because if we dump that tank now, you can see the lagoon, it's right back there. It's gonna take out 2, 4, 6, and possibly 8. It's gonna overflow,
Yeah, because that lagoon, right,
it's right there.
Yeah.
this one right here, that
Yeah.
doesn't really go anywhere.
No,
It doesn't hold very much water. What, is that a house now in the back there?
that's what, that's when I saw it in the planning minute notes that he was thinking of converting that. I'm like, wait a minute, where's our drainage thing?
I remember out here on this edge of this woods, there's big boulders and everything in there. So where did you want the swale? Go that way?
Yeah, they gotta get it that way and head it down towards the lake. Or get it running downhill so it's
So it's
not
gotta be in
running-
the back of that lot somewhere.
Yeah,
Well, I hope they do something about it because it's gonna cause a big problem for 2, 4, 6, and 8 if
so I
something
think
goes
they're all
wrong.
basically downhill. They won't have to water their lawn if it's
No,
summertime, but.
everything down there just keeps going down.
Yeah, it's all, that's why they've been having problems with the, I think it's the sewer system or something, I don't know. And even that, if they can get into his mosquito pit, that has to drain out somewhere also. Is his mosquito pit in the upper right corner?
Yep. He built that? Or was
Yeah.
that there?
No, he built that.
He built that. So that's where that ditch needs to go to. We need to
Right.
head toward the mosquito pit.
That's why I sent off that email to them and I dropped it in their, I sent it to Hugh and I also dropped it in their box. So that they had it.
You better speak to somebody personally down there.
Talk to you.
Talk to, yeah. Remind him about that because that's gonna be a big problem. Anything else?
No, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, you already told us about this one last meeting, right?
Yeah,
We're gonna
it's
do
passed, it's
this.
pretty much passed now. It was falling to the wayside, but the Senate passed it. I just didn't want you to think I was making things up.
Alright, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.